It is hard to imagine that in the heart of this industrial zone, one can find such a beautiful mosaic floor of a church from 1,500 years ago. Welcome to the Monastery of Euthymius. "1,500 years ago, this was a remote area on the way between Jerusalem and Jericho. Loads of pilgrims would go up and down this road on the way to Jericho, and more importantly, to the traditional baptism site of Jesus. The first monk to work and live in this area was named Haritun. Euthymius was one of his disciples, one of his students, who later perished to his own place of isolation, and at each time he dwelt in a cave or in a cliff, followers would come after him, and he eventually created 4 or 5 monasteries in the northern part of the Judean desert. The most famous one is the monastery named after him, the Monastery of Euthymius. So a monastery in the middle of the desert with a water source and food may seem appealing, but is it? Exposing the dorms of the monks taught us that they were really sleeping on stone beds with little niches to put all their possession in. Besides, they didn't have any real personal possession. So Euthymius Monastery, like many others, were really a place for celibate, ascetic people rather than Byzantines looking for a better life. Historical sources also tell us that after his death, Euthymius was brought for burial in his monastery inside a crypt, and it is believed that this inner crypt of the cemetery underneath the monastery is the very place where Euthymius himself was buried, somewhere around here. Sources tell us that later, excited pilgrims would get blessed oil that has been brought from the crypt itself, blessed by the fact that it touched its bodily remains. It would be purchased by them and would be much appreciated. One of the most amazing things about the Euthymius Monastery is its huge underground water reservoir, constructed to catch the little rainfall there is in this area, mostly flash floods coming from Jerusalem, in the most efficient way to have a large volume of water year-round.